Greetings, my lovelies. This is Blake here, and welcome to my review of The Man From U.N.C.L.E. And this is probably going to be a very short video because I don't have a whole lot to say about this movie. It's okay. It has a little bit of everything, but it doesn't really excel at anything. Throughout my viewing experience, I was reasonably entertained, and I was even a little bit impressed in certain parts, but it's already beginning to evaporate from my memory. Nothing really stands out, and the problem with The Man From U.N.C.L.E. is that it's come out in this time where it seems like espionage movies are more popular than they've been in the past few years. So when you have, Spy, Kingsman, Mission Impossible, and of course the next James Bond movie, this film just kind of feels like a lightweight in comparison. Kingsman and even Spy I thought were funnier movies, even though this film is pretty funny too. There is some good, clever dialogue. I really like how they have how they utilize the background for a lot of the darkly humorous moments. So I like, without spoiling anything, I'll just say, the truck picnic scene, the torture chamber scene, those were actually really funny moments. But as a whole, even though this film consistently amused me, just nothing was really side-splitting. Compared to the competition, it just doesn't seem quite as funny. And when it comes to the action, and this is not an action-packed movie, there are a few action set pieces, but most of it's very standard. There's a few really cool parts, but otherwise it's fine. It's acceptable action. I can't really complain, except Kingsman, Spy, and Mission Impossible all blow this movie out of the water in terms of spectacle. This feels very small in scale in comparison. Now you could argue, well, what about the plot and the characters? Well, I thought the storyline was pretty solid, but nothing really. There was no major twists. I was never really caught off guard by anything. It's just your typical rival spy movie, but it's executed pretty well. Once again, though, I just watched Kingsman the night after I saw this again, and Kingsman had a lot more creativity within its presentation of the storyline. It had a lot more twists, a lot more new stuff that I hadn't really seen before. Even Spy occasionally offered something new, and Mission Impossible. Well, I can't really say the same thing about Mission Impossible. I'd probably put Man From U.N.C.L.E. a little bit above Mission Impossible in terms of plot, but just a hair. So once again, Man From U.N.C.L.E. doesn't really excel in that area either, even though it doesn't shortchange us in regards to its story. The characters, pretty good. I have really no complaints about their characterizations. I liked how they were. These are not really good people. They can be very cold-blooded at times. And I thought they were both interesting. I thought the actors portrayed them very well. It's kind of interesting watching Henry Cavill because he's almost playing the role as if, what if Superman decided to take acting and is playing James Bond? And I'm not saying that just because it's Henry Cavill playing him. I mean, he brings back some of Superman's mannerisms and the way he talks. Henry Cavill usually doesn't talk like that, so I thought that was kind of amusing. But he's very suave. I watched this with my father, and he thought he was too over the top. That he just played it up too much. I was fine with it, but you might not feel the same way. Armie Hammer is playing Tom Hardy as if Tom Hardy was playing a Russian. But still, he's really good. He had lots of presence. Armie Hammer is actually a really good actor who, unfortunately, his career took a nosedive after being in the Lone Ranger movie. And it's not like his acting was bad in that either. It was a horrible role, but I hope that he could recover because he actually is a very strong actor. Now, these guys have pretty good chemistry together, but I think the film's biggest shortcoming is they don't really know how to utilize that. I wanted to see more scenes of these two interacting. I wanted to feel that bond form. I really enjoyed the moments where they were trying to, upstage each other, but also, when they do start working together. But for the most part, throughout the majority of the movie, they're just kind of going on their own parallel stories that occasionally converge, but generally they have their own scenes with different people. Instead of, I wanted to see more of them together. I'd say maybe that's what they're going to do in the sequel, but I don't think this movie is going to do well enough to earn a sequel. And I feel I hate it when origin stories wait until the very, very end before giving us what we want like that. For example, Green Hornet. I love the Green Hornet theme, and I hate that you don't really hear it until the very end of the movie. And in this case, I just wanted to see more of these guys together. I wanted the film to build up their chemistry a lot more. But what we got was pretty good, so it was kind of a wasted opportunity. Anything else I could say? It's a film that it's quirky. It is fairly quirky. It has a personality. It just doesn't have a whole lot of charisma. So, that's why I don't think this movie is going to stay very long within our collective memories. But there are a few parts where they're kind of dragging on. The director's sort of not quite going for an art house vibe, but there's a lot of stuff that you might consider to be filler, which kind of pads out the running time. I thought some of that could have been trimmed down, but it's still overall reasonably well paced. I was never really bored. I enjoyed myself. I'd say that if you really want to see this in theaters, presuming you haven't, go ahead. It's good enough to warrant that, although I probably wouldn't do the full price. If you're indifferent, if you're on the fence, or if you don't really want to see it, I'd say just wait till it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray and rent it. I don't really think that this is worth the full, theatrical treatment in terms of, you going to the theaters. I probably could have just said that. I had to really convolute that sentence there. But if you're really passionate about seeing in theaters, well, you probably already have. So this entire point is sort of unnecessary. So that is all I have to say. I did not do a written review of this, but I have done written reviews of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, yay, Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, Pound of Flesh, a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, and I also did a page where just mini reviews of stuff that I don't really want to do the full written review treatment for, so just smaller things like some of the Dirty Harry movies, Mad Max movies, what the Cronenberg type reviews were that I had done a couple months prior. So read all of those. Follow me on Facebook, especially if you like wrestling. On Twitter. Now I got to go back to work on critiquing the critics, which hopefully should be out sooner than later. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I shall see you guys later.